This is Paul. Yeah, kind of getting a late start today. Yeah, I had a lot of tooth pain last night. My mouth was really, really hurting. As I'm sitting here, I was thinking about who's in control, and it's not Hu Jintao, the former president of China, folks. It's not the who's who of Dr. Seuss. You know the who's. Those little leprechaun-looking beings that had pointed noses. Yes, yes, yes. You know the who. Haven't you ever watched Dr. Seuss before? The Grinch that stole Christmas. He stole all the presents. Stole all the presents of the Who's. Oh, I think it was Jim Carrey that played that part where he went into Whoville and he took all their presents and he acted like, oh, I'm Santa Claus when he wasn't. The Grinch. Stink, stank, stunk. As an American citizen sitting here on the streets, asking myself, well, who is in control? I thought the Victims' Bill of Rights gave me the control. Seems like those in law enforcement thought they were in control. Now, when I inform you of a crime, the crime of issuing a protection order in 2011 where my rights as a respondent were not protected, where my sons were abducted and kidnapped, where there was numerous forgeries on the court documents and body doubles were standing in as Heidi Lee Budnick instead of the actual petitioner of the court. When you got paid to make numerous shows and you've violated innumerable numbers of laws, bribery, fraud, forgery, kidnapping, child abduction, conspiring to deprive me of my enjoyment of life. They had that Victims' Bill of Rights that says that I actually am in control. See, the victim doesn't have to be victimized by those that are in law enforcement. I informed you over 2 years ago that the protection order violated the state constitution, that you cannot deprive a person of life, liberty, or property without due process. You cannot issue protection orders where I was not given actual notice and opportunity to be heard. You can't issue protection orders where the petitioner didn't acknowledge the protection order. You cannot issue protection orders that have forgeries. Now, as I remember reading a number of court documents approximately 5-6 years ago when I was living in the fifth wheel, I noticed it was not Heidi Lee Budnick's signature, it was Heidi Lee Budner's signature. Now, as the victim that's being victimized by the sheriff's department, the police department, the judiciary, the victim that's being victimized by those in the state government because of their refusal to enforce the laws of the state, as the victim that's being victimized by every state of the United States because of the refusal of law enforcement to accept that once they know of a crime, it's actually in their jurisdiction. So any sheriff, any cop, any oath of office, any judge, justice, or attorney in any state that knows of my civil rights being violated, my constitutional rights being violated, my victims' rights being violated, the Violence Against Women's Act being violated, any state of the United States and any employee of those states that have the legal or professional obligation for the enforcement of the law, it's in their jurisdiction when they know of the crime. Now, who's in control? Is it the victim or the victimizers? Pooch. Now, let's say I called up the sheriff's department or I sent an email. Oh, I'm documenting the crime of child molestation. Now, are you going to allow a child to continue to be victimized, or are you going to enforce the laws of the United States? It just so happens that when I have 5 sons, and I do have 5 sons, and you victimized them for the last 6 fucking years, you somehow think that you're in control. But you've been victimizing myself, my 5 sons, Marilyn, and her 6 kids. Now, today, it would be nice if we could enforce all the laws, the victim's rights laws. I have the right as the victim to request that law enforcement call me. I don't have to call them. I have the right as the victim to ask law enforcement to email me. I do not have to go to their office, their department. I do not have to beg them for the enforcement of the fucking law. Now, as the victim, who is in control? The victimizers or the victim? The victim's Bill of Rights gives me the right to be in control so that I don't have to confront my victimizers. I don't have to show up in court. I don't have to do anything other than inform law enforcement. Now, if you stupid fuckers that thought you ran the world because you've been victimizing the population think that I, as a victim, have to do what you want me to do, you might not understand what the Victim's Bill of Rights means. Now, today, okay, if the sheriff would stop thinking that he's in control and the police would stop thinking that they're in control, and if the judiciary would stop thinking that they're in control, they could look at the actual documents where I was not served as a respondent in 2011, that Heidi Lee Budner was not Heidi Lee Budnick, the actual biological mother of my 5 sons, that my sons have been molested, exploited, abused, neglected, molested. Now, you dumb fucks are going to find out that as a victim, I have a lot more rights than you would have ever fucking understood. Now, who's going to be in control today? Is it the Grinch that stole Christmas and took all the presents from the Who's? Or is it the actual American citizen that has documented the fucking crime? I'd like a phone call today. I'd like an email, and then I'd like to sue every oath of office everywhere in the United States of America. So if you just do your fucking job, I'd like to be in control because I'm the victim. Do you understand?